You are currently being blasted by billions of invisible waves that can walk through solid brick, but get defeated by a single bowl of soup. We have all been there. You are sitting on the couch, scrolling through your feed, everything is lightning fast. Then you walk 10 feet into the kitchen to grab a snack, and suddenly the loading circle of death appears. Your phone says you have full bars, but your video is stuck in 144p. It feels like a personal insult from the universe. Why is it that your Wi-Fi can travel through a massive concrete floor to reach your neighbor downstairs, but it cannot seem to get past your bathroom door? It is not just bad luck, and it is not just a cheap router. You are actually witnessing a fundamental battle between the laws of physics and the literal structure of your home. To understand how Wi-Fi passes through walls, you first have to realize that your router is not sending out data. It is actually a high-tech lighthouse, flashing a light that your eyes are simply too primitive to see. Think about a standard flashlight. If you shine it at a wooden door, the light stops. The room stays dark. But if you replace that light with Wi-Fi, the door might as well be made of glass. To understand why, we have to look at the size of the waves. Visible light is incredibly small. The waves of light you see are about 500 nanometers long. That is 200 times thinner than a human hair. Because they are so tiny, they get blocked by almost everything. But Wi-Fi is different. A standard 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi wave is about 5 inches long. A 5 gigahertz wave is about 2 inches long. Because these waves are so much larger, they interact with matter in a completely different way. Imagine trying to throw a handful of sand through a chain link fence. Most of the sand hits the wire and bounces back. Now imagine throwing a basketball through that same fence. It's not going to go through the holes, but it might just knock the fence over or find a way around it. Wi-Fi waves are like those basketballs. They are big enough that they do not get caught up in the tiny microscopic gaps of most solid materials. But wait, if Wi-Fi can pass through a wall, why does the signal get weaker on the other side? This is where the mystery deepens. When a Wi-Fi wave hits a wall, 3 things happen at the same time. Some of it reflects, some of it is absorbed, and some of it passes through. This is called transmission. Imagine you are standing behind a thick curtain. If someone shines a bright light at you, you can see a glow, but you cannot see the light bulb. The curtain has absorbed some of the energy and scattered the rest. Your walls are doing the exact same thing to your internet. The signal does not just walk through the wall like a ghost. It actually vibrates the atoms inside the wall as it passes through. Every time those atoms vibrate, they steal a little bit of energy from the wave. By the time the wave comes out the other side, it is tired. It has less energy, which your phone interprets as a weaker signal. But not all walls are created equal. If you live in an old house with plaster and loft walls, you are basically living in a Wi-Fi prison. Why? Because inside those walls is a metal mesh designed to hold the plaster in place. This creates something called a Faraday cage. Metal is the ultimate enemy of Wi-Fi. Because metal is a conductor, it does not just absorb the waves, it reflects them like a mirror. If you put your router inside a metal filing cabinet, your signal will be 0%. This is also why you might have terrible signal in your kitchen. Your fridge, your oven, and your dishwasher are giant metal shields. Even the foil insulation behind your radiator is bouncing your signal away from where you actually want it. Now, let us talk about the biggest Wi-Fi killer in your home, and it is something you probably never suspected. It is you. Humans are about 70% water. As it turns out, the 2.4 gigahertz frequency that most routers use is the exact same frequency that water molecules love to absorb. This is not a coincidence. It's the same frequency your microwave oven uses to...
Remember those 2-inch waves we talked about? Because they are smaller, they have a much harder time passing through solid objects. They get absorbed by walls much faster than the longer 5 gigahertz waves. This is why you can have a 5 gigahertz signal that is incredibly fast when you are in the same room, but as soon as you go down the hall, it disappears completely, while the 2.4 gigahertz signal is still going strong. It is a choice between speed and distance. It is like choosing between a sprinter who can only run on flat ground and a hiker who can climb over mountains. But there is an even weirder phenomenon at play here called diffraction.
Have you ever wondered why you can hear someone talking around a corner, even if you cannot see them? It is because sound waves are long enough to bend around edges. Wi-Fi does the exact same thing. When a Wi-Fi wave hits the edge of a doorway, it actually bends and spreads out. This is why leaving your doors open can actually improve your signal, even if the wave could theoretically pass through the wood. The path of least resistance is always the winner. Your Wi-Fi is constantly bouncing off the floor, the ceiling, and the walls, looking for any gap it can find to reach your device. This is called multipath propagation. Your phone is actually receiving hundreds of different versions of the same signal, all bouncing off different objects at slightly different times. Your phone's processor has to do incredible math in milliseconds to stitch all those echoes back together into a single coherent stream of data. So, if the signal is bouncing everywhere, why does it still suck sometimes? It is because of interference. You're not the only one throwing basketballs around. Your neighbors are too. If you live in an apartment complex, there might be 30 different routers all trying to use the same invisible space. It is like trying to have a conversation in a crowded bar where everyone is screaming. Even if you are standing right next to the person, it is hard to hear. And it's not just other routers. Your baby monitor, your cordless phone, and your Bluetooth headphones are all fighting for the same 2.4 gigahertz airwaves. Every time your microwave turns on, it leaks a tiny bit of radiation that creates a wall of noise for your Wi-Fi. This is why your video might buffer exactly when you start making popcorn. Let us get practical for a second. If you want to master the physics of your home, placement is everything. Most people hide their router in a cupboard or on the floor because it is ugly. That is the worst thing you can do. You want your router to be high up. Why? Because waves travel better downwards and outwards through open air than they do upwards through the dense materials of your furniture. If your router is on the floor, half of your signal is being blasted directly into the ground. If you put it on a high shelf in the center of your house, you are giving it the best possible line of sight to every room. You are essentially turning your house into a light show where the light can leak through the walls. We're also entering a new era with Wi-Fi 6E and Wi-Fi 7. These use the 6 gigahertz band. It is even faster, but the waves are even shorter. This means the future of internet isn't one giant router in the middle of your house trying to punch through 4 walls. The future is mesh systems. These are small nodes that talk to each other, creating a relay race for your data. Instead of one athlete trying to run a marathon through a series of brick walls, you have a team passing the baton around the obstacles. It is an expensive solution, but it is the only way to beat the physics of a modern home filled with mirrors, water, and metal. Think about this the next time your internet drops. You're not just looking at a glitchy app, you're looking at a complex dance of electromagnetic radiation that is currently being absorbed by your couch, reflected by your bathroom mirror, and blocked by your own body. It is a miracle that it works at all. We have built a world where we expect invisible light to carry our entire lives through solid matter, and 99% of the time, it actually does it. You're basically living in a world of ghosts, and your phone is the only thing that can see them. Before we go, I have a quick question for you. What is the one weird spot in your house where the Wi-Fi absolutely refuses to work no matter what you do? Is it a specific corner of the kitchen, or maybe just one side of your bed? Let me know in the comments, because I bet there is a physical reason for it that we can figure out. If you found this dive into the invisible world of Wi-Fi interesting, make sure to hit the like button and share this with someone who is always complaining about their slow internet. Don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the hidden science of your everyday life. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.